Okay, getting everything set up and ready to go. Just started Rumble Studios. Now I'm going to be starting up on Beam. So Beam's getting set up now. I'm going to go to the channel, make sure the audio. Yeah, that's not where I wanted to go. Okay, go to my channel page. Nope. Go to the channel. Never mind. That's not going to work there. Go to my channel. There we go. Found it. Check the audio. Audio sounds good on Beam. Come and check out my own stream on Rumble, see what that sounds like. All right. Find out real quick. Having some issues starting up. Not hearing anything. Okay, there we go. Heard my voice. Going to YouTube. I can hear myself on YouTube. X has to fire up real quick. It's still got X Pro has the little wheels turning, so I've got it going on D Live. It sounds good. And it's on Twitch, sounds good. And so does Kick. So now I just have to wait for X to load. X has it up. Let me see what it sounds like. The little wheel stopped turning. Okay, so with that being done today, I am doing strange stories. So hope you guys enjoy this. This okay. X is there. We go. It's taking a little while, but it's actually doing it. I don't know how well it's all coming out, but I heard my voice. That's what's important. So everything seems to be up and ready to go. All I have to do now is get the episode started, and we are going to be getting that going here before long. Finally, I'm getting into some good stuff here that I started out on last week that I wanted to get going. Let me go ahead and put some music on real quick so I can run to the bathroom, take care of my business, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back wanting to do a last minute audio check to make sure everything's coming through. I do have the background music. I wanted to make sure you guys were actually listening to something. I didn't want to leave you hanging sitting there with nothing to listen to. Now, today I am going to continue what I was talking about last week when it came to strange stories. Now, I was talking to you uh, about some of the stuff that I have been diving into when it comes to Mount Fuji and mountain worshiping, and then I started getting into some stuff concerning tree worshiping, I believe. So, um, me, I've got to get my place in my notes. That way, I have everything set up and ready to go. Um, this week, I am going on to a different subject, though, so that um, wait, no, it was Mount Fuji and tree mountain worshippers and stuff like that. It was all about Japan, if I remember correctly. That's what I was talking about. I got shows mixed up. So this week, what I wanted to get into is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and that's going to be concerning Hindu temples and the underworld. Now, Dragus is talking to me. He's asking if I'm doing it live or I'm doing it live. It's live, Dragus or Mark. So, with that being said, I wanted to discuss, uh, like I said, Hindu temples in the underworld. Now, this is a subject that I've only seen one person actually make a video of that concerns this topic. Now, I've seen a lot of people who are into archaeology and stuff in India go around to some of the temples and stuff and kind of go over Naga worshiping and things of that nature. But I've never seen them kind of or discuss the topic that I'm talking about. Now, on the video that I watched, and it was years ago, and I went back to try to find it, and it's not on YouTube anymore, by the way. But on this video, it was talking about how people were making offerings of water to or within these temples, and he believed that the offerings were going down into the ground, and they were feeding the Nagas who lived under the ground beneath these temples, and that kind of caught my attention. So at some point, I wanted to go over that when I had a chance to live stream and kind of put that on video. Well, time had passed, and finally, uh, I was able to get a decent computer that would allow me to live stream, and it took me even longer to do that. So what I finally did is, after about a year and a half of live streaming, I said, you know what, man, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do a stream about Hindu temples and the underground, or and the underworld, basically. So that is what the topic's going to be about today. I put together my notes and my talking points and stuff, so I am ready to go. I really should have edited this stuff better, but I'm okay with what I have. So that being said, let's get on to the topic and everything. The idea that holes in certain Hindu temples might serve as air tunnels delivering ventilation to the Naga, which are serpent deities, underground is an interesting speculation, but it is not widely accepted or documented belief in Hinduism. However, several temples across India are known for underground chambers, hidden tunnels, and serpent-related mythologies. Here are a few examples. The Manarasala Sri Nagaraja temple in Kerala is one of the most famous shrines dedicated to serpent worship. Temple is said to have over 30,000 stone snake idols. There is a belief that Nagas reside in the subterranean chambers beneath the temples. Some say that mysterious tunnels exist, possibly leading to underground dwellings of the Nagas. Many temples dedicated to Nagalinga, Shiva in the form of a serpent deity, contain underground passages. Some devotees believe these tunnels could connect to serpent abodes or be linked to ancient Naga worship traditions. One of the wealthiest temples in the world, it is said, sealed underground vaults. One of the wealthiest temples in the underworld, which is Padmanabhaswamy Temple, has sealed underground vaults that are rumored to contain treasures and possibly hidden pathways. Some myths suggest that Nagas or divine beings protect the sacred chambers. In many serpent worshipping traditions, Nagas are believed to live in water bodies such as rivers, lakes, and underground springs. Some Hindu rituals involve pouring milk or water into holes in the ground, believing that this pleases the Nagas. Some scholars suggest that these holes might have been ancient ventilation shafts or drainage systems. The idea that these tunnels provide air to underground Nagas is a modern speculation, not an established Hindu belief. Many such tunnels and holes were likely drainage systems, ventilation shafts, or secret escape routes from ancient temples. In Hindu temple architecture, small round holes in the floor leading underground are relatively uncommon. However, certain temples feature such structures, often serving specific architecture or realistic purposes. Now you have the Sambesari Temple, which is the Yogyakarta in Indonesia temple. Okay. Now this 9th century Hindu temple was buried about 5 meters underground, likely due to volcanic activity. During its excavation, parts of the original structure were uncovered, revealing features that might include openings or passages leading underground. Then you have the Padmanabhaswamy Temple, and that's in Kerala, India. It's known for its ancient underground vaults. This temple has several sealed chambers beneath its main structure. While not explicitly described as having small round holes in the floor, the existence of these underground vaults suggests a presence of passages or openings leading below ground. Now, In traditional Hindu temple design, certain elements are placed beneath the main idol of the sanctum sanctorum. These underground components serve both structural and spiritual purposes, contributing to the sanctity and stability of the temple. While the specific function of small, round holes leading underground can vary, they are often integral in the temple's design, serving purposes such as drainage, ventilation, or symbol connections to the subterranean aspects of the divine. The Padmanabhaswani temple, located in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala, India, is one of the most revered Hindu temples dedicated to the Lord Vishnu. It is also one of the richest religious institutions in the world, with an estimated treasure worth billions of dollars discovered in its underground vaults. The temple follows the Dravidian architectural style, which is more common in Tamil Nadu than in Kerala. It enshrines Lord Vishnu in Avanta Shayana, reclining posture. No, Lord in Asvinta Shayana, which is the reclining posture, in the on the serpent Adi Shisha. The idol of Vishnu is unique, made from a combination of salagramam, which is sacred fossil stones, herbs, and other unknown materials. The temple follows a strict dress code, allowing only Hindus to enter the visitor. No, and allowing only Hindus to enter, and visitors must wear traditional attire, which is mundu for men and saris or long skirts for women. The temple is famous for its 6 underground vaults, labeled vaults A to F. These chambers were sealed for centuries and were believed to contain immense treasures. Vault A was opened in 2011, and it contained gold, jewels, and artifacts worth an estimated $22 billion, including gold crowns, antique gold coins, diamond-encrusted jewelry, solid gold statues. Vault B is the most mysterious and has never been opened due to religious and mythological concerns. It is believed to be guarded by supernatural forces and a curse. Local legends claim that opening it without proper rituals could bring misfortune or even widespread catastrophe. Vaults C, D, and E, and F contain gold and silver ornaments used for temple rituals. According to legend, the treasure in the vaults was accumulated over centuries from donations made by Travancore kings, merchants, and devotees. Some believe that Vault B contains divine secrets, possibly a hidden chamber linked to Hindu mythology. A carved serpent insignia on Vault B's doors has fueled speculation that opening it without divine permission could bring disaster. The temple was maintained and protected by the Travancore royal family for centuries. In 2011, the Indian Supreme Court ordered the temple's administration to investigate the treasures. Despite the discovery, the Supreme Court ruled in 2020 that the royal family retains control over the temple. The temple represents spiritual wealth over material wealth, emphasizing devotion over riches. The mystery of Vault B remains unsolved, making it a subject of fascination for historians, treasure hunters, and conspiracy theorists. Vault B of Padmanabhaswani Temple is surrounded by mystery, myths, and legends, making it one of the most intriguing aspects of the temple. Unlike the other vaults, which have been opened and found containing enormous treasures, Vault B remains sealed, and many believe it is protected by supernatural forces, divine curses, and ancient serpents. One of the most widely held beliefs is that Vault B is guarded by Naga uh, Devatas, or serpent deities, and opening it improperly would unleash a curse. The vault door is adorned with carvings of two massive cobras, reinforcing the belief that powerful snake deities protect the chamber. Local legend states that Vault B was sealed by powerful sages using Naga Bandham, a sacred serpent mantra. It is believed that only a highly enlightened sage, or a saintly figure who knows the correct mantras can open the vault without bringing disaster. If opened without the proper rituals, the Naga Lock, realm of the serpent gods, would be disturbed, and the temple, city, or even the world could face catastrophic consequences. According to another myth, Vault B contains an ancient secret that, if revealed, could bring devastation. Some stories suggest the chamber contains something so sacred that it should never be exposed to the world. Opening it improperly would bring natural disasters, wars, or divine retribution. Some believers claim that a global catastrophe might follow if Vault B is disturbed. The vault's massive iron door has no visible locks, bolts, or latches, leading to speculation that it was sealed using a lost method of energy-based locking. Some accounts claim that the door can only be opened by a specific chant known as Garuda Mantra. Anyone who attempts to open it without the mantra will be cursed. It was last sealed by highly knowledgeable Siddha Purushas, which is our divine sages, centuries ago. In 1931, temple priests attempted to open the vault, but were reportedly met with supernatural occurrences, including the sound of hissing serpents. In 2011, when the Indian Supreme Court ordered an investigation of the temple's vaults, Vault B was left unopened due to the temple authorities' strong objections. Experts claimed that disturbing the vault could trigger uncontrollable spiritual or supernatural forces. There are many theories about what lies within Vault B, an even greater treasure than Vault A, possibly containing ancient artifacts, texts, or sacred relics. A hidden passage or tunnel that leads to another secret chamber beneath the temple or connects to underground waterways. The lost secrets of Hindu mysticism, possibly ancient scrolls, relics, or even divine energy. Despite multiple calls to open Vault B, the Travancore royal family and temple priests have resisted, citing religious, historical, and spiritual reasons. The Supreme Court of Indiana has allowed them to maintain control over the temples, effectively preventing Vault B's opening. Now, with that, I agree where it needs to stay closed because, like, I was actually going over some of the videos to kind of get up to date on what's going on with that, and I agree with what one of the guys that I was watching said. You know, especially with the turmoil in the the economy the way it is in India right now, I don't think would be a good time for anybody to be opening a vault up that has that that much riches in it. You know, that amount of money and wealth. Um, because do you really, first of all, want these people to have that money to where they can sell it off on the market for cash? And second of all, do you want that kind of a treasure to be sold off to other countries or private individuals, or do you want it to go where it belongs, like a museum or something, something of that nature, to where it can be shared with the people? So, I mean, in that respect, I agree with them on that. So, after that, I want to talk about Naga Bandam. And Nagabandam is an ancient and mystical concept from Hindu and Tantric traditions. It refers to a powerful esoteric binding ritual associated with Naga or serpent energies. The term is often linked to spiritual protection, divine guardianship, and the seal of sacred or forbidden places. It is believed that once a space, object, or person is bound by Naga Bandham, it cannot be opened or unsealed unless specific and precise mantras or rituals are performed. Naga refers to serpents, particularly divine serpents, being in Hindu mythology, such as Avanta, Vasuki, Takshaka, or Karkataka. Now, bandam means bond, seal, or bind. Nagabandham is said to be an occult ritual that invokes the protection and destructive, the protective and destructive powers of the Naga, ensuring that what is sealed remains untouched by mortals. In the Mahabharata, Karna was once bound by the Naga Astra serpent weapon, which is a serpent weapon, the Naga Astra, during battle, showing the concept of a serpent energy binding someone physically. In the Ramayana, Indrajit uh, Meghanada, the son of Ravana, used Naga Bandham to trap Rama and Lakshmana with serpent-like astral forces. Hanuman, knowing the secret of Naga Vidya, later released them using counter mantras. Many ancient temples and caves are believed to be sealed using Naga Bottom, preventing entry by those who lack the knowledge or authority. Padmanabhaswani temples, Vault B is often linked to Naga Bottom, as local legends say the vault is protected by powerful serpent energies and can only be opened with the correct Garuda mantra. Naga Bottom is not just used to bind physical spaces, but also for spiritual protection. It is believed that those who attempt to break a Naga Bottom or Bandham improperly may suffer from Naga Dosha, which manifests as illnesses, bad luck, or even ultimately death. The only way to unseal a Naga Bandham is by chanting the correct mantras and performing specific rituals. The Garuda mantra is said to be one of the few effective methods, as Garuda, the eagle deity, is the eternal enemy of serpents. Without his knowledge, opening a Naga-sealed chamber or breaking its binding could lead to supernatural repercussions. Now, after that, I'm going to discuss Naga-lok or Naga-loka, and that is the mystical subterranean realm of the Nagas or the serpent deities in Hindu, Buddhist, and Jain traditions. It is described as an underground or underwater kingdom filled with great treasures, divine beings, and guarded secrets. Nagalok is also considered one of the seven netherworlds, which is Patala Lokas in Hindu cosmology. Nagalok is often depicted as a magnificent world beneath the earth, adorned with golden palaces, jewels, and rivers of nectar. The most famous Naga ruler include the most famous Naga rulers include Vasuki, Takshaka, Karkataka, and Shesha, which is Ananta also. Nagas are semi-divine serpent beings, sometimes depicted as having a human upper body and a serpent lower body, or fully serpentine in appearance. Nagalok is believed to be connected to rivers, lakes, and oceans, with many temples and shrines dedicated to Nagas found near water sources. Nagalok is one of the seven lower realms of Patala Lokas, specifically referred to as the third or fourth level below the earthly plane. It is said that Lord Vishnu rests on Ananta Shisha, a cosmic serpent within the deep cosmic waters. According to the Puranas, Nagas were originally divine beings, but were later banished to the netherworld due to their power and unpredictability. Arjuna, the Pandava prince, visited Nagalok after being pulled underwater by a Naga princess, Alupi. She later helped him during the Kurukshetra War. Takshaka, the Naga king, ruled a portion of Nagalok and sought vengeance against King Parikshit, leading to the legendary snake sacrifice, the Sarpasandra. Many Hindu temples, including the Padmanabhaswamy temple, are said to have secret tunnels connected to Nagalok. Some believe water offerings, Abhisheka, flow into these underground realms. Nagas are respected in Buddhist and Jain traditions, where they are seen as powerful guardian spirits. Nagarjuna, a great Buddhist philosopher, was said to have received the Prajnaparamita Sutras, which is the wisdom scriptures, from the Nagas in their hidden realms. Ananta, meaning infinite, is the king of all Nagas and serves as the bed of Lord Vishnu in the cosmic ocean. He is depicted as having multiple hoods, sometimes numbering 1,000, each crowned with a divine jewel. According to Hindu cosmology, when Ananta uncoils, time moves forward, and when he coils back, the universe contracts into dissolution. Vasuka is a powerful Naga ruler known for his role in the Samudra mantra, churning of the ocean. The gods, or devas, and demons, asuras, used Vasuka as a churning rope to extract the nectar of immortality, Amrita, from the ocean. During the churning, Vasuka emitted hala hala, a deadly poison, which was consumed by Lord Shiva, turning his throat blue. Nilakantha, now Takshaka, was the ruler of Taxila, and a powerful Naga of Naglok, or Naglok, however you want to say it. He is infamous for causing the death of King Parikshit, the grandson of Arjuna, by biting him after being insulted. This led to Janamajaya's Serpa Satra, which is a snake sacrifice, where thousands of Nagas were killed before Astika, a sage, intervened to stop the carnage. Let me say that again. This led to Janmajaya's Serpa Satra, which is a snake sacrifice, where thousands of Nagas were killed before Astika, a sage, intervened to stop the carnage. Nakataka was cursed to remain motionless for eternity until he was destined to help someone. He later aided King Nala in defeating his enemies and reclaimed his kingdom. Alupi, a Naga princess of Naglok, fell in love with Arjuna while he was in exile. She dragged him into the underwater kingdom and later bore him a son, Ravan. Alupi also played a crucial role in reviving Arjuna after he was killed during the Kurukshetra War. There are several temples and underground structures believed to be connected to Naglok through tunnels, some of which contain mysterious small holes leading underground. Now we have, again, Padmanabhaswamy Temple, which, like I said before, is in Kerala. And it's believed that a hidden tunnel beneath the temple connects it to Naglok, where Ananta Shisha resides. The sealed vault B, which remains unopened, is rumored to contain divine treasures and secret pathways to the underworld. Then we have Kuki, which is Kukke, Subramanya Temple, which is in Karnataka. Now, this temple is considered one of the holiest Naga shrines. It's dedicated to Subramanya, or Kartikeya, who protects Nagas. The temple's underground chambers and serpent worship rituals suggest links to Naglok. Then we have Kalahasti Temple, which is in Andhra Pradesh. It's famous for its Rahu Ketu Puja, which is Naga rituals. It is believed to have an underground chamber where devotees communicate with Naga spirits. The Nagas in Southeast Asia culture are said to originate from India's Naglok and are believed to dwell in the depths of sacred lakes and mountains. So the Nagas in Southeast Asian cultures are said to originate from India's Naglok and are believed to dwell in the depths of sacred lakes and mountains. The famous Angkor Wat is thought to have hidden serpent tunnels connecting to underworld water channels too. Many ancient water offerings, which are called Abhiseka and Naga Pujas, are believed to be a way to nourish the underground serpent deities who reside in Nagalak. Some believe the small holes in certain temple floors may have been used to channel water into the underground tunnels, possibly offering it to the Nagas below. In Hindu tradition, several temples are associated with Nagas, which are serpent deities, like I said before, and are believed to have connections to Nagalaka, which is the subterranean realm of the serpents. These temples often feature serpent motifs and are sites of Naga worship. Manarapolar uh, Manarpolar Temple, which is in Andhra Pradesh, is a temple that is associated with the legend of Sri Krishna and is believed to have connections to Nagaloka. And Pandamanhaswani Temple, which is in Kerala, uh, is dedicated to Lord Vishnu, who is depicted reclining on Ananta Shisha, and Ananta Shisha is the infinite serpent. This temple is believed to have connections also to Nagaloka. Now, Kuke Sembra Manya Temple, which is Karnataka, is dedicated to Lord Samaramanya or Kirtakaya, who is revered as the protector of the Nagas. This temple is believed to have connections to Nagaloka as well. Now, Kalahasti Temple, which is also in Andhra Pradesh, is known for its Rahu Ketu Puja, which are rituals associated with shadow planets, often linked to serpentine imagery. Now, this temple is believed to have connections to Nagaloka as well. These temples are significant centers for Naga worship and are believed to have connections to Nagalaka, the mythical realm of serpent deities. The Javagal Narasimha Temple is a historic and architecturally significant temple located in Javagal, a village in the Hassan district of Karnataka, India. It is dedicated to Lord Narasimha or Narasimha, an incarnation of the Hindu god Vishnu. Narasimha is depicted as a half-man, half-lion figure, symbolizing divine intervention and protection against evil. The temple was built during the Hoysala dynasty period around the 12th century CE, under the reign of Hoysala rulers who were known for their remarkable contributions to temple architecture in Kartaka. The Hoysala style is known for its intricate and elaborate stone carvings, star-shaped temples, and detailed sculptures of gods, goddesses, and mythical figures. The Javagal Narasimha Temple is a prime example of Hoysala architecture and showcases many of these signature features. Despite being in a relatively remote location, the temple has survived the centuries and remained an important pilgrimage site for devotees of Lord Narasimha and Lord Vishnu. The temple is built with a star-shaped platform, a common feature in Hoysala architecture. The temple's structure is made from stone, and its walls and pillars are decorated with stunning sculptures and carvings that depict various Hindu deities, celestial beings in scenes from Hindu mythology. The temple has a sanctum sanctorum, a garbhagriha that houses the central deity, Lord Narasimha. He is depicted in his iconic half-man, half-lion form, which symbolizes his divine protection in his victory over the demon Hiranyakanshipu, as narrated in Hindu mythology. Narasimha's incarnation is considered to be a manifestation of Lord Vishnu, created no, Vishnu created to rid the world of the evil demon and restore balance. In addition to Lord Narasimha, the temple also features sculptures of other deities, including Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, the goddess Lakshmi or Lakshmi. The figures are intricately carved into the walls and pillars, showcasing the artistic skills of the Hoysala craftsmen. The temple's entrance is guarded by a Nandi, the sacred bull associated with Lord Shiva, which is a common feature in many Hindu temples. The temple also has a large open mandapa, or a hall, with finely carved pillars that support the roof. These pillars are decorated with various mythological scenes and figures. Lord Narasimha, the central deity of the temple, is one of the most powerful incarnations of Lord Vishnu. According to the myth, Lord Vishnu incarnated as Narasimha to protect his devotee Prahlada and to defeat the demon king Hiranyakashipu, who had become invincible due to a boon granted by Brahma. The demon king could not be killed by a man, animal, or god, neither indoors nor outdoors, and neither during the day nor night. To circumvent this, Vishnu took the form of Narasimha, or Simha, a half-man, half-lion figure, and killed Hiranyakashipu at dusk, neither day nor night, and on the threshold of his home, neither indoors nor outdoors. This story presents the victory of good over evil and the protection of devotee by the divine. The Javagal, which is Javagal, since my pronunciation is horrible, I'll spell it. The Javagal Narasimha temple serves as a place of worship for followers of Lord Vishnu, particularly those who revere Lord Narasimha. Devotees believe that worshiping Narasimha brings protection from evil forces, and it is common practice to pray to Narasimha for safety, well-being, and the removal of obstacles. The temple hosts regular religious services and celebrations throughout the year. Narasimha Jayanti, which marks the birth of Lord Narasimha, is one of the most important festivals celebrated here. Devotees gather in large numbers to offer prayers, perform rituals, and seek blessings from the deity. The temple also observes Ekadashi, a fasting day dedicated to Vishnu, and other Vishavite festivals. The Javagal Narasimha temple is a testament to the artistic and architectural achievements of the Hoysala dynasty. Its intricate carvings, religious significance, and historical importance makes it a vital part of the cultural heritage of Karnataka. Now, after that, I'm wanting to go into, I want to discuss another temple, which is pretty awesome. Now, this one is very rarely ever seen. Or it's very rarely ever heard about, and it's something that I did want to bring up. This one is the Unseen Temple, and it's actually pretty cool, to be honest with you. The Unseen Cave Temple of Shiva. Now, this one is something that I do want to cover. I'm going to go over this one, and I may just leave it at that. I don't know for sure if I want to go any farther than that. Actually, uh, it's probably a good place for me to go ahead and quit, because this is a big topic. Um, I could do it though. Let me see. I'll just go ahead and do it. Now, the Unseen Cave Temple of Shiva in Sathrumalas, no, in Sathrumalaswaram, India, is a lesser known yet historically significant temple located in the Chittor district of Andhra Pradesh, near the village of Sathrumalaswaram. The temple is dedicated to the Lord Shiva, and it is said to have a rich history and mysterious characteristics that have sparked interest among both locals and historians. The name Unseen Cave Temple comes from the fact that the cave itself is hidden and difficult to access. The temple is believed to be part of an ancient underground structure that was initially obscured by natural elements or underground vegetation or overgrown vegetation. This cave temple has fascinated historians and archaeologists because of its enigmatic location and the secrecy surrounding it for centuries. According to local legends, the temple is linked to several mythological stories related to Lord Shiva. One of the most prominent narratives is that it is the site where Shiva meditated or performed tapas, which is austerities, to transcend worldly desires and connect with the divine. The temple is said to be part of the ancient Shiva Agama tradition, where powerful rituals and mantras were once performed to evoke divine energy. The cave is also thought to be a pilgrimage spot for ascetics and others, no, ascetics and those seeking spiritual enlightenment. It has been used for centuries as a place for quiet meditation and worship. The cave temple is constructed in a rock-hewn style typical of ancient South Indian temples. The temple features an underground sanctum, and the walls are said to be adorned with simple yet intricate carvings depicting various forms of Lord Shiva and other deities. The temple's architecture is minimalistic yet profound in its spiritual symbolism, often associated with Shiva's as- ascetic and meditative nature. One of the most notable aspects of the cave temple is the Shiva Linga, the sacred symbol of the Lord Shiva. It is placed in the innermost sanctum, and devotees believe that performing rituals and offering prayers here can lead to spiritual cleansing and divine blessings. The temple is not widely publicized or easily accessible, which adds an air of mystery to the site. The isolation of the temple in the dense forest of Sethromaleswaram and the fact that it is hard to find has led to many local myths about its origins and purpose. In addition to the temple, in addition, the temple is sometimes referred to as unseen due to the difficulties in accessing the cave and the way it was hidden from the larger public eye for many years. Some say that this concealment was intentional or intentionally designed to keep the sanctity and purity of the temple intact and only allowing those with pure hearts and intentions to find it. For those who visit and manage to find the temple, it is considered a place of deep spiritual rejuvenation. The cave, its isolation, and the mysterious history surrounding it makes it an ideal location for people looking to connect with the divine in a quiet, undisturbed setting. Many devotees who make the journey believe that the site holds a strong energetic presence and offers unique opportunities for meditation, prayer, and spiritual reflection. As of now, the unseen cave temple in Shiva in Sethromaleswaram remains a relatively hidden treasure. The temple sees a steady stream of devotees, although it is not as widely known or visited as other famous Shiva temples in the region. Despite this, the cave temple holds a special place in the hearts of local worshippers and is considered one of the sacred spots of Lord Shiva in South India. It is also a popular spot among trekkers and explorers who seek out remote and unique temples in the country. The unseen cave temple stands as a symbol of mysticism, seclusion, and the spiritual power of Lord Shiva. The cave's relative obscurity and difficult access have preserved its sanctuary, making it an important spiritual site for those seeking a deeper connection with the divine. The local myths surrounding the unseen cave of Shiva in Sethromaleswaram are woven deeply into the cultural and spiritual fabric of the region. These myths, passed down through generations, play a significant role in how the temple is viewed by locals and devotees alike. One of the most enduring local myths is that the Lord Shiva once meditated in the cave to attain ultimate spiritual enlightenment and liberation, which is moksha. The belief is that Shiva chose this particular spot due to its secluded nature, away from the distractions of the material world. The cave was believed to be a place of powerful energy where Lord Shiva performed intense penance or tapas for thousands of years to transcend the limitations of the physical world. The legend tells that during his meditation, the cave itself transformed into a sacred realm, and the very rocks and earth surrounding it became imbued with divine energy. The myth suggests that anyone who seeks to connect with Shiva on a deep spiritual level and perform rituals at the temple will be able to tap into this energy, experiencing peace and enlightenment. Another common myth associated with the temple is the presence of a guardian spirit that protects the sanctity of the cave. Local villagers believe that a serpent deity or a naga guards the entrance to the cave and ensures that only the worthy can access it. The myth often ties into the worship of naga deities in South Indian temples, where serpents are considered powerful divine beings that offer protection and blessings. According to the myth, the Naga's role is to ensure that no one enters the sacred space with ill intentions or to desecrate the temple. It is said that the Naga deity watches over the temple's sanctum and that devotees should approach the temple with reverence and respect. One of the darker local legends surrounding the unseen cave temple is the myth that those who approach the temple with impure thoughts or disrespectful attitudes will be cursed. The curse is said to be a result of the powerful spiritual presence within the cave, which can expose a person's negative intentions. The myth tells of several historical incidents where individuals who attempted to exploit the temple for selfish reasons were met with misfortune. Some locals claim that the temple's energy field can manifest physical repercussions such as illness, financial loss, or personal tragedies, as a warning to those who disrespect the divine. Another popular myth circulating in the region is that the cave once hid hidden treasures or divine relics left behind by Lord Shiva. The myth suggests that over the centuries, these treasures were either buried deep within the cave's complex network of tunnels, or that they were hidden away by early worshippers to protect them from invaders and thieves. Some stories claim that the hidden manuscripts, sacred artifacts, or even the divine sword of Shiva are buried somewhere in the temple's vicinity. Locals say that the treasures are still waiting to be uncovered, but only by a person who is truly worthy of Shiva's blessings. This treasure myth also ties to the idea of sacred space and the temple's divinity being preserved by those who approach with pure devotion. A more fantastic legend is that the unseen cave temple is not entirely visible to the human eye and can only be revealed when the seeker is spiritually ready. The myth suggests that the temple's location is known only to those who are able to perceive it with their hearts and souls rather than their physical eyes. According to the myth, the entrance to the cave temples is hidden by a divine bell, only allowing access to those who are on a path of deep spiritual purification. It is said that the cave reveals itself to the truly devoted, while others may pass by it unaware of its existence. This idea of divine concealment reinforces the notion of the temple as a sacred space that must be appreciated with great reverence and purity of heart. The myth of Shiva bestows a blessing on those who visit the cave temple. Who visit the cave temple. Wait a minute. The myth that Shiva bestows a special blessing on those who visit the cave temple is a key part of local belief. It is said that Lord Shiva himself, having meditated here, blesses devotees who visit with a variety of gifts. These gifts can range from spiritual insight and inner peace to healing powers and prosperity. The belief that those who are in need of guidance, healing, or strength can find solace by offering prayers at the temple, and they will leave the temple having received Shiva's divine grace. The myth often ties into the larger idea of Shiva as a merciful and compassionate deity who is always willing to bless his true devotees. In many ways, these myths are only in many ways, these myths not only reinforce the religious importance of the temple, but also emphasizes the profound mysteries of spiritual devotion and the hidden nature of the divine. They underscore the idea that faith, purity, and reverence are a part no are the keys to unlocking the blessings of Lord Shiva and accessing the hidden spiritual powers of the temple. The historical incidents involving individuals who attempt to exploit the unseen cave temple of Shiva for selfish reasons are largely rooted in local folklore and oral traditions, with a blend of myth and reality. These tales often serve as cautionary stories for devotees and outsiders, warning them of the temple's sacredness and the potential consequences of approaching the site with impure intentions. One of the most frequent recounted stories involves a wealthy merchant who had heard rumors of hidden treasures within the temple. Believing what the temple's no, believing that the temple's sanctity would shield him from any repercussions, the merchant ventured into the cave with the intention of stealing precious artifacts. The tale goes that the merchant was drawn to the temple's inner sanctum, where he believed he would find gold and sacred relics hidden deep within the cave. However, as soon as he attempted to touch the sacred idol, the ground beneath him is said to have shaken violently, and the temple walls began to reverberate with an intense, almost supernatural sound. The merchant fled in fear, but in the following days he began to suffer severe health problems. His business collapsed, and he faced a series of financial disasters, with his health and prosperity disappearing completely. Locals claim that his misfortune was a direct result of his attempt to exploit the temple's power for material gain. Another well-known story involved a scholar from a nearby village who was motivated by his desire to prove his intellectual superiority, who tried to conduct rituals and experiments in the temple without proper reverence. He was skeptical of the temple's religious significance and aimed to debunk the local beliefs by testing the sacred waters and other elements of the temple's rituals. According to the myth, after the scholar attempted to disturb the sacred offerings and alter the temple's ritual process, he was met with immediate supernatural retribution. He was struck blind and subsequently found wandering in the wilderness with no memory of how he had arrived there. His mind was said to have been consumed by madness, and he was never seen again in his village. The locals attributed this tragic fate to his disrespectful approach to the temple and its divine powers. A more common tale involves a group of pilgrims from a distant land who visited the temple in search of blessings and healing. However, when they arrived with an attitude of disrespect, some believing that they were entitled to divine favor simply because of their status or external gifts. They attempted to offer ritual sacrifices without understanding the temple's true spiritual requirements. The leader of the group, a man of high rank, attempted to place an offering on the temple's sacred altar without following the customary rites. As he did so, a sudden storm broke out, and the sacred fire in the temple's hearth was extinguished. The storm was said to have become violent and uncontrollable, uprooting trees and flooding parts of the temple's vicinity. The group was forced to flee, but their leader was struck by lightning and died on the spot. The survivors reportedly left with nothing but a deep sense of guilt and fear. This story is often cited as a warning against approaching the temple with arrogance or disrespect. There's also the story of a local thief who, upon hearing about the temple's supposed treasures, planned to sneak into the cave at night and steal valuable offerings, believing that the temple's protection would not extend to him. The thief attempted to break into the sacred space under the cover of darkness. According to the legend, as he entered the temple's inner chambers, he found himself unable to move. His body became frozen, and he was said to have been trapped in a paralytic state until dawn. When the temple priest arrived in the morning, they found him still in his unnatural position, unable to speak or explain his actions. The thief was later said to have confessed his wrongdoings, but his hands remained frozen in a state of rigidity for the rest of his life, preventing him from ever committing theft again. The most poignant of these stories is that of a false priest who came to the temple posing as a holy man, claiming to have special knowledge of the divine. He tried to deceive the local community by performing rituals and charging devotees for his services, despite having no true connection to the temple's spiritual practices. One night, as he tried to conduct a ritual that was said to be a mockery of the divine worshipped at the temple, the false priest was found dead at the altar. His body was burned beyond recognition, with no clear explanation for his untimely death. Some say that his body was consumed by a divine flame, signifying that his deception was uncovered by the temple's spiritual forces. His death served as a powerful reminder to anyone who sought to exploit the sacred practices of the temple for personal gain. The historical incidents and legends surrounding the unseen cave temple of Shiva illustrate the belief that the temple is not just a physical space, but a divine realm where spiritual energies are at play. In these myths, there is a clear message. Those who approach the temple with disrespect, greed, or selfish intentions are met with retribution, while those who come with humility, sincerity, and devotion are blessed with divine protection and grace. The giant Shiva lingam is what I really do want to get into and discuss. But yeah, I'll go ahead and do that because why not? I don't really want to leave it unattended. You know what I mean? I'm finally there because we've talked about the unknown cave temple. Now there's a giant Shiva lingam that's inside of this cave, which is pretty amazing. Um, I thought it was something that I was looking for when I was telling you about that old story, but come to find out it wasn't. But it's still an interesting story nonetheless. Let me take a drink of my coffees because my throat's getting kind of weary. Now, besides this being a hidden away cave temple, um, it has a lingam inside of it, which is pretty interesting. If anybody knows anything about lingams, then they'll know what I'm talking about after I read this. So um, let me go ahead and get to that. I wanted to go make sure there wasn't any kind of comments or things of that nature before I started. So nobody has made any comments. So with that being done, I'm going to go ahead and continue. Now, the giant Shiva lingam within the unseen cave temple of Shiva is a truly remarkable and awe-inspiring structure, deeply significant in Hindu spirituality. This monumental idol is a representation of Lord Shiva, one of the principal deities in the Hindu pantheon, symbolizing the formless, infinite nature of the divine. The Shiva lingam is unlike the typical small, rounded stone often seen in other temples. In this case, it is an immense, towering structure, often described as monolithic, with its surface glistening in the dim, sacred light of the cave. It is not just a simple pillar, its massive proportions give it an imposing, almost otherworldly presence. The lingam rises several feet high, with the base wide and stable, while the upper portion narrows slightly as it extends upward. The form is smooth and polished, as if shaped by divine hands, and it seems to have a life of its own, a spiritual energy that pulses beneath its surface. The texture is cool to the touch, and its surface seems to absorb the surrounding light, reflecting the divine presence of Lord Shiva himself. The lingam is often bathed in sacred waters that flow from a nearby natural spring, believed to aid in its holiness. At the base of the lingam, an elaborate yoni, a symbol representing the goddess Shakti, is carved, indicating the union of Shiva and Shakti, the masculine and feminine forces of creation. The sacred marriage of these deities is central to understanding the Shiva lingam, which is considered a representation of the cosmic balance between the active and passive forces of the universe. Shiva lingam is symbolic of the infinite, eternal nature of Lord Shiva, representing the formless aspects of the deity. Unlike depictions of Shiva in human or animal forms, the lingam embodies his abstract cosmic essence, the source from which all creation emerges and to which it will ultimately return. The presence of the lingam is said to radiate a divine energy which can cleanse the soul, purify negative karma, and bestow spiritual blessings upon the devotee. Devotees who visit the temple often perform rituals of worship by offering milk, water, honey, and bilva bilva leaves while chanting sacred mantras. The lingam is not merely an idol, it is a focal point for divine interaction, believed to act as a conduit between the physical world and the transcendent. Worshippers often immerse themselves in a deep meditative state while in its presence, experiencing a profound sense of peace and unity with the divine. Within the context of the unseen cave temple, the Shiva lingam is the central focal point around which the temple's worship revolves. As a temple dedicated to Lord Shiva, this giant lingam serves as a portal of divine power and a representation of the God's infinite nature. It is often said that the temple itself is built in such a way that the lingam sits atop a natural ley line or energy vortex, enhancing the flow of spiritual energy within the cave. Legends tell that the lingam is not merely a physical object, but has a deeper metaphysical importance. It is said to be the manifestation of Shiva's presence, one that aims the energies of the earth, sky, and cosmos. When worshippers approach it with devotion, they are believed to enter a state of heightened spiritual awareness where their own energies are aligned with the divine. Numerous myths surrounding this giant Shiva lingam, many of which are passed down through local folklore. Some stories claim the lingam was created by the gods themselves, brought to the temple to provide protection to the region and its people. There are also stories of the lingam mysteriously growing over time, as if it were as if it were absorbing the prayers and offerings of the devotees. Some say that during specific auspicious occasions, the lingam glows with a divine light, illuminating the cave temple in a surreal, otherworldly glow. One such legend speaks of a mysterious sage who meditated for thousands of years in the cave, seeking to understand the true nature of the divine. During his meditation, he was said to have awakened the lingam, which then radiated divine wisdom and knowledge, which the sage received in his heart. This moment is said to have blessed the temple with an unbroken connection to the divine, making it one of the holiest of places in the region. The giant Shiva lingam within the unseen cave temple is not merely a physical object. It is a spiritual presence, representing the vast, unbounded nature of Shiva's cosmic essence. Its size, beauty, and spiritual power evoke awe in all who encounter it, making it a central piece of worship and devotion for those seeking the divine. For believers, it is a sacred site where the connection to Lord Shiva can be felt most intensely, a place where the divine and mortal realms meet. When liquids such as milk, honey, and water or sacred offerings are poured over the Shiva lingam, the liquids are believed to symbolically purify and cleanse the devotee as well as honor Lord Shiva. The pouring of the offerings is an important ritual in the worship of the lingam, and the way the liquid interacts with the lingam varies depending on the design of the temple and its specific traditions. In some temples, the liquid is absorbed by the Shiva lingam itself. The lingam's surface is often perilous, allowing the liquids to soak into the stone or marble. This is thought to signify the merging of the devotee's offerings with the divine essence of Lord Shiva. The most common design for a Shiva lingam is the one with a yoni at the base, which is often a small circular or oval impression that represents the goddess Shakti, Lord Shiva's divine consort. When liquids are poured, they flow into this yoni-shaped depression and are either drained away or absorbed into the ground beneath the lingam. In some temples, there are hidden drainage systems or channels underneath the lingam that carry the liquid away from the temple. The liquid may also flow into a small pond or a reservoir that is kept for ritual use. In some temples, there is an overflow or a sacred tank near the base of the Shiva lingam where the liquids are poured. The liquid offerings may be collected by these tanks and remain there until the next ritual or ceremony. This is often done in temples that have more elaborate water systems for the continuous flow of offerings. The act of pouring the liquids is symbolic of purification and devotion. In some temples, especially those with ancient rituals, there are deep subterranean channels or natural springs beneath the lingam, allowing the liquid to flow into hidden underground reservoirs. These may be thought to lead to sacred underground realms associated with Shiva, reinforcing the belief that the lingam is a portal between the divine and earthly realms. The belief that the liquid flows to the underground or to hidden reservoirs is symbolic of the concept of Shiva as the eternal hidden force in the universe, representing his mysterious and formless nature. The liquid's journey down the lingam, as seen as a return to the cosmic source of creation and destruction, emphasizes the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth in Hindu cosmology. For devotees, the act of pouring offerings is an opportunity to devote oneself to Lord Shiva, to ask for blessings, and to purify one's karma. The liquid offerings are symbolic of the devotee's reverence and the surrendering of oneself to the divine, with the belief that Lord Shiva, in his formless and cosmic nature, accepts these offerings as a gesture of devotion. When liquids are poured over the Shiva lingam, they either flow into the yoni, are absorbed by the lingam, or are drained away into underground or hidden reservoirs. The process reflects the divine connection between the devotee and Shiva, symbolizing purity, transformation, and the eternal cycle of creation. The unseen cave temple of Shiva in Sathramalswaram, India, is known for its relatively mysterious and isolated nature, which adds to the intrigue surrounding its practices and rituals. The specifics of the Shiva lingam within the temple, such as whether it has a yoni, a drainage system, or a sacred reservoir or tank, are not widely documented due to the temple's hidden or lesser-known status. It is highly likely that the Shiva lingam in the cave temple, like in most temples dedicated to Lord Shiva, is accompanied by a yoni, as the most as the combination of Shiva lingam and yoni represents the unity of the divine masculine and feminine energies. The yoni serves as a vessel for the flowing liquid offerings, which are traditionally used for purification and honoring Lord Shiva. In many cases, these yoni shapes are designed to allow offerings to flow directly into the base, giving the underground nature of the unseen cave temple, it's plausible. No, no. Given the underground nature of the unseen cave temple, it's plausible that there could be some form of drainage system or hidden passages leading the liquid offerings away from the temple. In caves and in caves and ancient temples, such systems were sometimes designed to ensure the temple remained clean while also symbolizing the flow of offerings into the earth or to an underground realm. Natural channels within the temple could also act as a drainage system though this would depend on the temple structure and the local customs. While this specific temple might not be known for a grand, visible sacred tank like some other temples, it is not out of the realm of possibility that offerings are collected into a hidden or underground reservoir, especially considering the temple's cave-like structure. In some caves, offerings are funneled to small hidden tanks that serve as a spiritual repository for liquids used in rituals. This sacred These sacred tanks are sometimes out of sight of the main worshippers, but are used during certain ceremonies. Since the temple is known to be somewhat secluded and mysterious, it could also be following unique local traditions not commonly found in more famous temples. Local myths, legends, and ritual practices could influence the way offerings are handled and the overall symbolism of the temple structure. While the specific while the specifics regarding the Yoni drainage system or sacred reservoirs of the unseen cave temple of Shiva are not widely available, it is possible that one or more of these elements are present, as they are common features in many traditional Shiva temples, especially those dedicated to cave or underground worship. A sacredness the sacredness of the cave combined with these potential features adds to the profound spiritual significance of the temple. In many ancient traditions, particularly in cultures with deep spiritual or mythological roots, water or liquids flowing through temples or sacred spaces is often viewed as having symbolic and spiritual significance. In many ancient religions, water is associated with purification and the flow of life. In the context of Shiva worshipping, water offerings are often seen as a way to connect with the divine, and sometimes the water is believed to flow to symbolic underworlds and realms of the ancestors, spirits, or gods that exist beneath the surface of the earth. This can represent a connection to deeper spiritual planes, to realms of mystery, or to the unseen forces that influence the physical world. In certain beliefs, underground spaces such as caves or hidden chambers are thought to represent the entryway to spiritual realms or dimensions. For example, the Hindu notion of Patal Lok is the underworld realm where certain deities, spirits, and creatures reside. In some cases, drainage or flowing liquids might might symbolically be believed to enter these spaces, linking the temple to realms beyond ordinary perception. The idea of an underground realm is also tied to the sacredness of cave temples, which are often seen as places that bridge the physical world and the spiritual world. Caves are naturally seen as liminal spaces, thresholds between the material and the spiritual. In ancient rituals, offerings, like water pouring over a Shiva lingam, might be seen as symbolic of the soul's journey into the deeper hidden places of divine energy or the abode of gods, sometimes thought to be beneath the earth. On a more practical level, drainage systems in such temples might lead to underground channels uh, or natural flow paths that lead the water away from the sacred space. These water systems might connect to wells, tanks, or streams deep beneath the temple, reinforcing the idea that the sacred liquid is being returned to the earth, in essence, entering the spiritual world. In short, the notion of water or drainage leading to an underground realm is a way of expressing the idea that the offerings are not just physically going underground, but spiritually entering the realm of divine presence or transformation, where they can be cleansed, purified, and offered to higher spiritual forces. There are Hindu beliefs, myths, and legends that suggest connections between the Shiva lingam and underground spaces, including the concept of Patal Lok, the underworld, and other subterranean realms. In many Hindu temples, especially those dedicated to Lord Shiva, the Shiva lingam is the central object of worship. Devotees often offer watermilk honey or other substances to the lingam, and it's believed that these offerings purify the devotee's soul and connect them to the divine. The water, after being poured into the lingam, is sometimes channeled through drainage systems within the temple, often into underground channels or reservoirs. While there are no direct references to classical Hindu texts about the water from the Shiva lingam flowing specifically into Patel Lok, the idea of offerings entering underground spaces is consistent with the symbolism of connection between the earthly and spiritual realms. The water could metaphorically be seen as entering a lower realm where it purifies and connects the devotee's intentions to the underworld or hidden spiritual dimensions. In Hindu cosmology, Patal Lok is one of the seven realms, often considered the underworld or subterranean dimension. It's believed to be inhabited by various divine and semi-divine beings, including serpents, nagas, demons, and other mystical entities. The belief that water from a Shiva lingam or sacred offering could flow into underground realms connects to the ancient idea that Shiva is the Lord of both creation and destruction, bridging the upper and lower realms. While Patal Lok is not specifically mentioned in relation to Shiva lingam rituals, the idea of divine energy moving through hidden or underground spaces is consistent with the larger mythology of Shiva. In many temples, the underground parts of the temple are considered sacred, and some believe these spaces connect to otherworldly realms. In some regional legends and local beliefs, there's an understanding that the water offering offered to Shiva and to the lingam enters not just physical channels, but also spiritual pathways leading to different realms. In some temples, especially those situated near caves or mountain sanctuaries, it's said that the offerings, water, milk, etc., travels through secret underground passages. These pathways are believed to lead to divine or otherworldly realms where the spiritual energy of the offerings is carried. For example, some legends suggest that Shiva's river, often personified as the Ganga, flows through hidden underground realms before reaching the Earth's surface, symbolizing a journey through spiritual depths. The idea of Ganga's descent to the earth and her flowing through Patal Lok represents how divine energies permeate both the upper and lower realms. The concept of the Nagas, serpent like deities often associated with water, is also connected with underground spaces, particularly Patal Lok. Nagas are believed to dwell beneath the earth, and some texts mention that they reside in water filled caves or underground rivers. In temples dedicated to Shiva, the lingam is sometimes depicted as being protected by or associated with Nagas, whose presence is linked to those subterranean worlds. In some temples, especially those dedicated to Shiva and Vishnu, there are legends about sacred Nagas, serpent deities, guarding the lingam, and the idea is that the offerings made to Shiva are accepted by these divine beings who dwell in the underground or lower realms. The Naga connection further reinforces the theme of water moving through underground realms before returning to the surface or being purified. In some esoteric Hindu traditions, it's believed that spiritual practitioners, yogis, and siddhas who perform intense meditation or rituals in sacred temples can access hidden spiritual dimensions, including the underworld or Patal Lok. The Shiva lingam serves as a conduit to higher realms, and there are beliefs that certain hidden pathways, often underground, could transport a devotee consciously to those otherworldly dimensions. In some cases, it is said that temples built atop sacred mountains or caves are connected to secret underground chambers that lead to the spiritual underworld where divine beings reside. These are the places where the mystical energies of the Shiva lingam are believed to flow after being offered by devotees. In some local myths, it is said that when water is poured over the Shiva lingam, it is absorbed by the earth and travels down into the roots of the world, into the subterranean realms of the Nagas or other divine entities. This is viewed as a way of connecting the divine prayers to the earth, the underground realms, and finally the divine. In this sense, the underground passages of the temple or the flow of water could symbolize both the spiritual journey of the devotee and the spiritual path of the offerings. They are believed to return to the depths from which they came, linking them to the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Although there is no direct explicit mention in ancient Hindu scriptures of the Shiva Lingam's offerings draining into Patal Lok, the idea of water or sacred liquids entering underground realms is consistent with the Hindu cosmological beliefs, especially in relation to the worship of Shiva. The concept of Patal Lok, Nagas, and the underground spiritual pathways form an integral part in the broader symbolism around the Shiva lingam and its rituals. Whew. Now that is all of it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have been doing these to about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half, but I really didn't want to split this one up. This is one that I've been really wanting to do. I haven't had time to really get to anything involving the Nagas. And this is my first attempt at breaking into it. Now, I want to go farther with this too later on, but this right here is Strange Stories. So I want to keep this going, but maybe not in another episode of Strange Stories. I have a lot of other different ideas that I want to put on here. This, so everybody knows, is also Strangeness, which is on my channel called Strange Stories. Okay, and it on the Wonderful World of Weirdness, it's called Strange Stories. So you guys know. And I've got older episodes of this on Strange Stories, my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to check that out, you can check out the old ones. I also have 15-minute blocks of video that comes out during the week as well of Strange Stories, which you can catch if you don't want to watch the full episode. So there's plenty of opportunities to go through and watch some of the older episodes if you're interested in it. They're definitely going to be coming out. So before I leave, I'm going to check and see if I have anybody who wrote anything in chat. And if not, then I am going to call it quits. And I will say thank you for anybody who came in. Mark from Dregus Productions came in and put LFG all over my chat. And Kick, thank you very much for stopping by, Dregus. And like I said earlier, this is a live stream, so it's not like something that's pre-recorded. You probably figured that out by now if you've been watching. So with that being said, I am going to get the heck out of here, man. Oh, he said, good job, Roger. I went to Beam and checked it out. And thank you for stopping by, Mark. I appreciate it. I would have checked the chat a little bit sooner, but I was too busy reading my stuff. So thank you for stopping in and making some comments. I appreciate that. So with that being said, I am going to end this now so that I don't have to talk anymore. My throat's getting kind of sore. So you guys have a good day, and thanks for listening.